Central African time in Porto Alegre. Then the Cameroon is looking to get the beats of Croatia in Manaus at midnight. But before that, we're expecting a cracker of a game in the Spain-Chile match at 9 p.m. with Spain needing a win to stay in the tournament. Now, of course, Mark is going to take us through all these matches along with the expected formations from the match of the night, Spain against Chile. Mark, welcome back.
Thanks, Kendall.
Mark, as usual, we're focusing on the big match of the night, no? That between defending champions Spain and Chile.
Yeah, definitely. I think with respect to all the other games, Spain and Chile is probably the game that everyone is looking forward to.
Yeah, defending champions, they lost their first one, and see how that goes. There are very interesting correlations and comparisons between Spain's 2010 and Spain's 2014 World Cup campaigns, aren't there?
I definitely think Spain will be experiencing a bit of deja vu this time around because obviously they played their first game and that was a repeat of the final in 2010. And now they find themselves in a situation where they've lost their first game just as in 2010, and their second game was also against Chile. On that day, they managed to beat Chile 2-1, and that helped them in their quest to go on to win the title. So they have to pull out the same kind of performance today again.
Oh, very interesting. Well, let's get down to business. Let's have a look at Spain's formation, see what they're going to be looking to do on the night in terms of the formations. As you can see, I see we've got a bit of an interesting addition there. We've got Villa at number 7.
I definitely think they need to bring Villa in. Villa is Spain's all-time leading goal scorer. Coming into the tournament in their last warm-up match, they won 2-0 and he scored both games. So I don't even know why he didn't get a show in the first game as well. I don't think he's going to tamper too much with the back four. Ramos and Piqué are the only two centre-backs that he really has. I think he's got one front and he's also got Royal Albiol who can deputise, but these are his two centre-backs. Casillas being the captain of the team, we know he had a bit of a torrid night against the Netherlands, but he is the captain, he is the leader, and Del Bosque says he's definitely going to keep him because he depends on him. And he's a professional, he'll come back strong.
But having said that, his supposed replacement, De Gea, still suffering from some rib injury of some sort.
Yes, and they have Pepe Reina as well. So they do have good backup, but I think Casillas has cemented his place. He's the leader of the team, and he'll definitely hold on to his spot. The difference is I think Alonso will hold the midfield, and I think if anything, he'll go with Xavi and Iniesta. They are more attacking. I don't think he'll go with two defensive midfielders. He has to. This is a game. It's obviously a must-win game for Spain, so he has to bring in an all-out attack. I think Pedro is very dangerous. He's a player that loves running at people. David Silva had a good game. He missed probably the best chance for Spain in the entire game. But I think he's a quality player, and Del Bosque will look to him to change.
And then Ramos for those set pieces with that head of his?
Ramos, exactly. Ramos, for me, I think if anyone is I prefer Ramos to Piqué. Ramos can get amongst the goals as well. Piqué, for me, is sometimes he's where they'll probably be looking to exploit Spain's weaknesses. I believe Ramos offers a lot more than Piqué, especially going forward as well. But for me, a key guy that has to play, this obviously we're not sure how Del Bosque is going to line up because he is going to be forced to make some changes after the night they had. But I think Villa is a guy that has to play. He's a proven goal scorer and they need that on the day.
Right, well, let's look at Chile's formation and see how they would be setting up their formation in contrast to Spain's. And I think my director is going to bring it up just now. What chances do you think Chile has got in this match of actually doing the job that they need to do?
Chile come into this game with a better chance than Spain, I would say. Chile come in with less to lose. For Spain, it's all or nothing. For Chile, it's not.
Right.
For Chile, they come in and they holding Spain is good enough for them. So they have the players that can counter. Sanchez is lightning quick. Vargas is lightning quick. Valdivia is very good going forward as well. So they'll definitely try and sit back and hold and absorb pressure and allow guys like Sanchez and Vargas, when they get the ball, to really exploit that Spanish defense. So I think they'll come into the game and really try to absorb a lot of pressure and then catch them on the counter because they don't need to win this game.
This formation of theirs, it's a hybrid, isn't it? 4-3-1-2.
Yeah, exactly. Because they'll keep the back four and they have to stay as solid as possible. And Diaz will just sit in front of the back four. So the rest of the guys, obviously, Vidal, a guy like Vidal is a doubt. because he came in with an injury, and even against Australia, they weren't sure he was going to play, and he only played 60 minutes. So we're not even sure today if that will risk him. They might go with more of a defensive player, but I think the back four is going to hold the shape with a holding midfielder, and everyone else is just going to sit really deep and wait to be able to catch them on the counter, because we've seen that Spain is really vulnerable on the counter attack.
All right. Now, with that said, let's have that counter-attack of Spain's. Let's have a look at Spain's attacking formation. I mean, with David Villa back in the starting lineup, we believe that's Spain's going to be doing that. They've got a better than average chance of getting goals, don't they?
Spain will always get amongst the goals. They'll always create chances because of their ball possession, the way they retain the ball, the way they move the ball. They're always going to be in and amongst the chances, because what they're good at is shifting defenders. They're good at shifting defenses. When they're passing the ball from flank to flank, defenses have to shift, and that's where gaps open up, and that's what Spain will be looking to exploit. Obviously, they're going to hold Ramos and Piqué have to hold the defense, and Alonso will offer them support at the back, and then it's going to allow your wing backs to get forward as well. But the key guys for me, Iniesta and Xavi, if they do get on the field, and Villa, they've been a part of the setup for a long time. All of them have over, I think Iniesta's coming up on 100 caps. Xavi has over 100 caps. Villa has over 100 caps. So they need that experience to shine through tonight. And
that experience of actually having been in formation with the rest of the team and the team ethos and the way they play, that's probably why Villa would be taking over from Costa,
definitely.
Isn't it?
Obviously, Spain, they have a specialized way of playing. Not everybody can play the way Spain plays. And I think that's where Diego Costa maybe, because he hasn't been a part of the setup for that long. And that's why getting used to the way they play. For a striker, sometimes you're starved of possession because the midfielders keep the ball so long. And if you're not used to playing in this kind of setup, you can get frustrated. And that's why Villa is key for me. That's why he has to play, because he knows the formation, he knows the setup. And I do believe he's going to be key for them.
Now, in Chile's defense to Villa probing and trying to get goals, let's have a look-see at Chile's defense formation and see what they start doing.
For me, Chile, if they have one weakness in their team, it's probably their defense. Like Spain, they're very good going forward, but they're not very solid in defense. They have a guy like Medel. Medel is actually a central midfield. He plays for Cardiff City in England, and he plays in the centre midfield for them. But for his country, he plays at centre-back. And one area that they did look vulnerable against Australia was the aerial balls. We saw Tim Cahill, who's one of the best in the air in the world, and he scored a beautiful goal with his head. That's an area that they may be a bit weak in, but I don't know that Spain have the players to exploit that, because they're not a team that centers the ball and tries to get goals in the air. So this defense, they'll just try and keep it solid and make sure that Spain don't come through the middle. They'll try and crowd the middle and make sure that they go out wide.
Right, now let's go to Chile's attack, that lightning quick attack that they've got. Going to have the formation of the Chileans come up just now. And this is where they're going to be trying to exploit Piqué, you said. And Piqué, would they be exploiting him obviously on the left side of the field mostly?
I think obviously they're not going to risk too much going forward. One thing, because Spain obviously, I think Chile come into this game knowing that in terms of ball possession, they are going to be far behind. So they're just going to want to get behind the ball and keep their shape. And once they win it, your Vidal, Vargas, Alexis Sanchez, those are the guys they're going to want to hit. And those guys are so quick. And we saw how Robin out-sprinted the Spanish defense. And they're going to be trying to get their the speedsters doing the same thing.
But isn't it one of the more dangerous things against a team like Spain that hold on to the ball for so long, to allow them the space and freedom to do that? Isn't it the idea to actually try and break their rhythm, disrupt their rhythm?
The thing is, as long as they're not doing it in dangerous areas, if they're playing in front of you and you can see them, that's what Chile wants to do. They don't want, if they press too high, Spain are so good that they'll play the ball around them. So that's why they don't want to press them too high up the field, because as soon as they do that, Spain have the ability to just knock the ball around them. And so they want to see them, if they have them playing in front of them, then that's good enough for them, as long as they're playing and they can see where the players are.
And then let's see what, in terms of what Spain would be doing to defend against this, do we reckon that
Spain obviously have to really improve on their defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the Netherlands team running them ragged. They're going to have to, in terms of their shape, they're going to have to hold better shape. There's two center defenders were getting stretched. and balls were being played in between them, and that's what they cannot afford. They need to become more compact in defense, and I think that's where a guy like Xavi Alonso is going to have to help them out a lot more, because when they do get drawn out into false areas, Xavi Alonso is going to have to come in and just cover for the two centre-backs, and that's why he plays a very key role for them in defense.
All right. I've just been sure that we've almost run out of time, but we've got a very big match, Cameroon-Croatia. That's a humongous match. It's a must-win for Cameroon. Croatia don't really need to win, do they?
No, both teams have lost their opening game, so for both teams, this is a must-win. Obviously,
I'm
for
speaking
us,
from the African
for us,
side.
we would love for Africa to come through.
Yeah.
But based on the opening performance, they're going to have to really improve a lot more. Croatia gave a really good account of themselves against Brazil. Cameroon, not so much. Cameroon, for me, the problem with them, they had really good individual play. A lot of the individual play was quality, the likes of Song, Eto'o, Mbia. They looked really solid individually, but they did not look good as a collective. And that's what they're going to need to get right against this Croatian team.
So a couple of predictions, Croatia versus Cameroon. What do you call there?
Unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to go with a Croatian win.
All right, what, a 1-0? 2-1?
It'll be tight. I think 2-1, 1-0. There'll be one goal in it.
One goal,
in it.
Spain-Chile?
Spain-Chile, unfortunately, I do believe the champions are going home tonight. I do believe that Chile will probably get one over the Spanish.
Nice one. I like that one. Right, that was Mark Haskins giving us a preview of what's happening tonight. We'll be reminding you of exactly what times those matches will be playing later tonight in the next bulletin. But now we're going to take a look at the African weather forecast.